Red Pill Radio, this is Chiara Nicoletti. I'm with Jeff Nichols and Austin Butler, director and protagonist of the Bikeriders, coming out in theaters on June 19th. So I have to say that people often tell me and make fun of me because I see coming-of-age films wherever I go, even when they're not officially coming of age. But in this case, I felt that, in a way, these people, especially Benny, are trying to find their place in the world. And in the group, they sort of find what they're looking for. They fit in. So I was wondering if that was an interpretation that you could...
Maybe coming of age, maybe we're all still coming of age, right? I'm coming of old age. So we're all still developing, I mean, you're looking at character arcs there, you're looking at transitions in people. I never sit down to write character arcs, actually. I find it, I don't know, it just feels too mathematic, like calculated. Like this person's going to start here and they're going to end there, and that's going to make a movie. I just don't ever think of it that way. You might be able to apply it, to my characters, hopefully, possibly. But what I'm really thinking about is just their behavior and their logic in the moment that they find themselves in. And then they start to reveal themselves and those shifts start to come, And in that sense, and for the Bikeriders specifically, I think you're looking at guys that are formalizing the idea of rebellion, and that is the shift that you're watching. It's interesting in this instance because it's happening to the club as a whole, but it's also happening to these individuals. I mean, look at Wahoo and Corky, right? Played by Bo Knapp and Carl Glusman. These two guys at the beginning of the film, they're just hanging out. They're just having fun. Hey, do you need a man? And then by the end, they're riding with this really dangerous guy. And the looks on their faces when they're riding with that guy at the end are just, I feel sorry for them, because, this is where they found themselves. Sorry, I don't know if that really answers your question. But
I like that.
I liked that answer.
Thanks.
What do you think?
I think you answered better than I could.
I was wondering, from an acting and a directing point of view, how much did you get inspiration for, the motorcycle movies? I don't want to say like The Wild One or Easy Rider. And how much did you instead take those aside and in order to create and focus on universal themes and universal story?
Yeah, I mean, you can't carry that around every day, whether you're an actor, I think, or a director. It's not like I'm carrying around these shots from movies going, when do I get to find that shot? You're looking for the moment, Movies are fake. Everything about them's fake. The microphones, the lights, the clothes, it's all fake. And the reason their job is so hard is because between action and cut, they have to do something that simulates reality, that is honest. And it's a very difficult thing to do, and it's why they're so talented. And so really, when I'm thinking about inspirations, they live up here. They live in this kind of dream space. Because in the moment, you're thinking about logic and behavior. That's it, And have I put the camera in the right spot to catch it?
Mm-hmm. That's great. It's interesting because I did watch motorcycle films just to see if there was anything. It's more to see what is, it's in the same way that I'd study human behavior. It's like, in The Loveless, how does Willem Dafoe kickstart a motorcycle? It's more for the technical things, That's awesome. And I saw how he did it and I thought, oh, okay, and so it suddenly gives you kind of a visual reference for what somebody else, physicality, really. And so for the most part, it was like a technical thing. Like I watched The Wild One, and I watched Easy Rider, and I watched Streets of Fire, and, you get little bits where you go, oh, that's cool how you see that, how they did that. And also what hasn't been done, and what haven't I seen, and what do I think is interesting. And it just kind of gives you a palette to kind of play with for me.
Speaking of your character, I have to say that Benny doesn't really talk much. So there's a lot in the film that you live through. His looks, the way he notes, he reacts, he looks at people. So I wanted to know more about how you worked on this also physicality. Sure.
Yeah, I mean, we talked early on about Jeff pointed out to me that you never see his face in the book. You never see Benny's face, and he's never interviewed. So you hear about him through other people. And so he's this myth, he's this mystery. And so Jeff told me kind of how he wanted to shoot some of those moments. And so that kind of got my imagination going. And then, I talked a couple times about this great interview with Christian Bale that I saw years ago where he talked about playing stoic characters. He said that he would write out the dialogue that isn't said. And because when you're playing somebody who doesn't speak much, it's not a lack of ideas or a lack of thoughts or a lack of opinions or beliefs. They are having all that, they're just choosing not to speak them out loud. And so for me, I had to know, you have fewer clues from the dialogue as to what this person is thinking. So, which can kind of be fun because then you have a lot of time in your imagination of figuring out who this person is and what they're thinking in each moment. And then you're just not saying those things.
That's
Well
awesome.
done. Grazie. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
We've been talking to Jeff Nichols and Austin Butler for the Bikeriders, coming out in cinemas on June 19th. And this is Chiara Nicoletti for Fred, the Festival Insider.